Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in, and we're just going to take a look at whatever the love message may be here. We have an Eight of Wands, it's sideways. Someone wants to send a message, someone else wants to receive a message. It's a two-way street. The lion is looking up, going like, well, what are you doing? This may be a divine masculine, since he's the archer in that card. Okay, so it's a King of Swords. The only thing is he does look like he's crossing his arms. Hi, guys. AC, Chrissy, Eliana, wonderful to see you all. Lots of love to you guys. With that King of Swords there, and he looks stubborn. Doesn't have to be, but he does have the two wolves next to him. And of course, you know, the alpha pair mates for life. We also have a King of Cups. Okay, this could be a same-sex couple. Does not have to be. This could all still just be him and his energy right now. Tell me more. What's your boggle, dude? We got the Four of Pentacles. He can't forget. He can't seem to let go. He's okay. So hang on. If you are holding on, and definitely holding on to memories, let me just ask this. Are you trying to let go of somebody that you deeply love? Six of Swords, exactly. I'm trying to let him or her go. Trying to move on from him or her. You're a king. You should know better. Why are you trying to do something that you seem unwilling or unable to do? You're steeped in memories. When I sorry, it sounded really rude as I said that. You know, you're a king. You should know better. I just mean, like, I'm trying to understand, why is this card sideways? Because if you feel like you should move on from somebody, you know, kings and queens normally do that, right? We have the Princess of Swords. Hang on before I say anything, because we've got a feminine on this card. That Princess of Swords would be the Page of Swords, so there's spying energy. Are you... Is it that just hard for you to let her go because you keep looking back at her? Are you literally like spying on her, hoping she's spying on you? We have the Devil. Okay, so there's a lot of lust still here. If lust is the only reason you're having a hard time moving on from somebody, then but see, he came across as love. I mean, King of Cups, and even as a King of Swords, but with the alpha mated pair on that card, says maybe he's trying to convince himself that, because I'm hearing the Julio Iglesias song. I keep telling myself this was not meant to be. I keep telling myself, but my heart won't agree. No matter how many times I keep telling myself, I know there's nobody else. Which, oh, it's such a pretty song. But this feels like he's trying to convince himself it was just lust. Then how come I can't heal? We have the Four of Swords. It's in the reverse. She's not trying to talk to me, though, right? There's a feminine on this card, and she's sitting here with her inner wolf quiet, but it's in the reverse. He might be spying on her and saying, it looks like she can move on without me, so I should be able to move on without her. But that's not true, because you haven't moved on. You're forcing yourself. And I mean, unless he's playing games with his own mind, can we get real? All right. King, do you want to go there? Do you want to get real? You're the one who's in this sideways energy of either wanting to reach out to her or wishing she'd reach out to you. Which is it? What are you wanting from her right now? I want to see that she's sad without me. That's not very polite. You want to see her hurting over you? I want to see her stuck on me. I want to know, okay, you do not seem like a king upright. Even though, in all fairness, doesn't everybody want to think that somebody doesn't want to like let them go? So I shouldn't be so, Kate about it, right? But I'm going to be, because this is a sad card, and what you want the person that you say you love to be up all night, hurt and crying and stressed and unable to move on, I think it would be more evolved of a king to say, what I wish is that, she still loved me, or I wish she wanted to talk to me, instead of like, I wish she was crying all night and so sad over me. Like that's because now this sounds very ego based to me. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. SLH. Hi, honey. Michelle Lovell. Annette Summersby. Deborah Abshire. So great to see everybody. Kate Hari, thank you for being here. Or Harl? Hari or Harl? Harl. Okay. We have a Two of Wands. Look, I know she's holding the world, but I almost feel like he says she's holding my heart in her hands. And I wish that I knew if she was hurt and she was upset. I wish that I knew what it was that she wanted to do. I wish I knew what she wanted from me, because she holds my heart in her hands, and I have to feel like I'm waiting on what she's going to do. Why do you feel like you are waiting on what she's going to do when you're the one over here saying, I need to forget her and move on? I just can't. The Hermit. I got to get a few more because I'm not sure how to read that yet. The Chariot, the Tower, the Page of Swords. It just, he feels like her mind is an impasse. She doesn't speak to me. She's in hermit mode. She's in a wheelchair here, so he may say, I know she was really hurt before when all of this collapsed, and I thought she used to still want to figure out what had happened, but now she's so silent. Why are you, character, you're starting to bug me. Why are you acting like this? Like she is this great mystery, but you get to sit back and wait for her to take action or something. Okay, hang on just a second. Let me see. You were watching a video last night and midway through it stopped playing and said video private. Trying to remember what it was about. Was it the singles storyline? That one's been re-released, and so too has the Scorpio video. 2 videos were not processing. I bet you it was a singles storyline that we did on the other channel late last night. It's available. It's in the video tab now. That's probably it, because as soon as I was done with it, it got stuck in processing loop, and it took 24 hours. Well, it took like 13 hours for it to process. That's probably it. Sorry, guys. Sometimes that happens, and then I have to wait for the video to finish, and then I can go ahead and release it. So that happened on a couple videos yesterday, just so you guys know. You'll see it live, but then once the live stops, it doesn't finish processing. So I have to pause and I have to wait, and then I can re-release it. With this Knight of Wands, it's weird because he's like giving away his power to a certain extent, but then saying like she somehow has the right to determine if she wants to like play with his heart. Almost like, I don't know if he comes across as a king, right? But he's saying the reason it's up to her is because she gets to determine if she wants to play with my heart. I'm not sure I get this. Why do you feel, or why are you pretending, or are you actually feeling like I'm wrapped around her finger? You know, if she wants me for anything, I'll be whatever she wants, you know? I mean, he does have a lot of lust when it comes to her. Oh my God, Jeannie Vale, thank you so much. Jeannie Vale just gifted 10 memberships. You are so, so kind. Thank you, babe. Everyone whose name just turned green, you are now members. Deborah Abshire, Brandy, Lou Magic, White Light. Hang on. I know I'll get your name wrong, and I know it, and I say it wrong every time, so please forgive me in advance, but I am the free Anna Paula Oliveira, Strum Hub, Lady Vostanis, Morg's Machine, and Sugar Mama's Sacred Sounds. You guys are all now members courtesy of Jeannie Vale. Thank you, babe. That was so, so nice. Thank you. And by the way, that means you guys can, of course, tap into the playlist that's called Members. And every Monday we add a new members video, and we do extra little perks in the members corner also that I don't want you guys to miss out on. So sometime between now and next Monday, make sure you pop into that playlist and see the most recent video so that you guys can participate. All right. We have a 5 of Pentacles. So I'm going to say that this feels like the shoe is now on the other foot. It feels like he's saying, once upon a time, I left her out in the cold. And that's why at this point, if she wants nothing to do with me, I have nothing to do but respect that. Or if she wants to play with my emotions and only have me in her life as a lover, but won't love me again with her heart, I mean, I have no business asking her for more than that. Oh, I can't stand this character. This character is so... it's so annoying because it feels, 10 of Swords. It feels like he's saying, oh, I really stressed her out. I really caused her hurt and grief. That's why she ended things with me. But that's why it's only fair, it's only right if, I'm supposed to move on and forget her because of course she wouldn't want me. But God, I hope she's still really stressed and really hurt because really she holds my heart in her hands. But you somehow caused her all this grief. And you say, heck, if she wanted me for anything, I would be there for her because, man, I really love her. But I don't see this as a love story, man. I see this as so toxic. This feels so bad to me. What did you do? What did you do? Character, 4 of Pentacles, I really held back from her. Okay. Did you do that to play with her mind or what? 4 of Swords. I don't know if he decided that somehow he would hold back from her because she had some wounds or scars or something that she needed to go off and heal. So he didn't want to deal with her, or he intentionally withdrew from her. Ace of Wands, but he really wanted her. Did you do something where you made some decision about her, for her? Why did you hold back from her? High Priestess. Okay, I'm sorry, but you notice how he came out in the beginning as 2 kings, right? And then I kept saying, gosh, it doesn't seem like he's acting like a king, though, because kings are usually quite decisive. And everything here is a contradiction in this whole story to me. It feels like he is somebody who blamed or pinned stuff on her, which the real underlying issue is she's an empath. She could feel all kinds of stuff about him. He didn't like that. He wanted to shut down. He wanted to withdraw. He wanted to hold back. Hard to hold back from an empath. You can't because they can read you anyway. So instead of admitting like, oh my God, she's like totally able to read me and that's kind of scary and I feel this incredible connection to her and that's kind of scary. Instead, he said, no, I'm going to hold back from her. There's probably something that is broken in her. She should probably be single and figure out her stuff. I shouldn't be with her. Oh man, but I want her so bad. I think he blamed her for his connection to her because it shook him up. But then he instead decided, let me go back to that 4 of Swords. She should be away from me and healing. 6 of Wands, because I really want the best for her. How interesting that you put this happy packaging around your fear and your kind of like, I'm going to say inappropriate decision-making on behalf of someone else. Talk about transferring. Okay, I'm the one with the problem, but instead of acknowledging it, that I'm freaking out because there's a strong connection that I'm not ready for, I'll instead say there's something wrong with you and I want the best for you. So you should go away. I should hold back from you. That is a very complicated, like gaslighting scenario. And it's not like he told her, I want you to go fix yourself. I think he just withdrew from her on purpose. But the thing is, like, the hunger for her didn't go away. Now, guess what? What did go away is her, right? She's gone. And now he's like, I'm trying to forget about her, but damn it, I hope she's missing me. God, is she missing me? She used to always wonder what had happened. And, I know I really stressed her out. I know I left her out in the cold. I know that I messed with her mind. Frankly, if she wanted me for anything right now, I would say yes, but I can't reach out and ask her to come back. So again, you're still not ready to even, like come in probably crawling on hands and knees and begging like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I walked away from you because I was freaking out. I tried to tell myself it was somehow your fault. They won't do that. So why do you think you're a king? Page of Cups. They don't. They don't. What it is that they actually have like an overwhelming amount of love for her. And they actually feel really sorry that they did this emotional manipulation because now they're the King of Cups in the reverse. They don't think that they were a king. They know damn well what they did. But they still cannot. I don't know if they know how to gag the words I'm sorry out of their lips. I don't know if they know how to. Look, it would make sense that if somebody was so rattled by, the sheer emotion and the connection that they felt, how would we expect if they got so rattled that they kind of freaked out and did this huge elaborate thing to, distance themselves from their own discomfort with everything and create a gaslighting blame game with her and disappear and then say they could move on from her? Like that's layers and layers and layers of lying to oneself. So we couldn't expect a character who did that much to lie to themselves to then magically be like, okay, I super understand all of this and I can now articulate it and I can, course correct it all. I mean, it's possible when people have big awakenings that they can do all that, but it's probably more likely that they're somewhere still in the middle of knowing what they did, but primarily that's probably why they're saying, if she would give me anything, a night with her, if she wanted me as her side dish, her lover, I would take that role. It still doesn't say that they're brave enough to reach out to her and say, oh my God, what the hell have I done? It's more like they just keep waiting, wishing she would call them back. And then they would be, hell, her puppet, if that's what they wanted, if that's what she wanted. Because now it's like, for the person that was freaked out about having the connection, now they would be willing to be just about anything in her life if only she would like reel them back in. But she's not reeling anybody in. You left her high and dry and out in the cold. She's on a hermit's journey, not knowing what the hell happened. She thinks the tower occurred. She thinks you flat out didn't want her, and she found a way to move on, even if it damn near took the legs out from under her. He knows all this, but he's still, and he knows he's not a king. He knows this is all emotional manipulation, and he is sorry about that. But I don't see him finding the words to explain all this. Instead, it's more just like, I wish she would call me back and tell me to come into her bed. I mean, I know that sounds really simple. With the Four of Cups, this is like, half of me feels really bad for this character because it looks like there's a lot of self-loathing because they're like, I can just picture the look she'd have on her face if I did try to explain all this. There is this, it's like they can't fathom even trying to explain this because you sit down and have coffee and try to tell her this is what I did and why. Look at her face. She's so over this. That's why everything hinges on, I'm going to have to let her go. I'm going to have to just move on and stop thinking about her. Unless, God, what if she misses me? I hope she misses me. I hope she would call me back. And then, if she wanted me for anything, I'd be there. So he spies and he spies and he spies and he spies. And he hopes she spies on him. But we don't have that on her part from what we can see here. Let's ask. Feminine. And please bear in mind, I don't read for genders. This could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles. I just, to keep the storyline straight in our heads, I kind of go with what the cards show us. 5 of Coins. She's like, oh, yeah, he definitely left me out in the cold. He knows that. He left her out there in the winter with not even a jacket on, like emotionally speaking. Yeah, that he left me really high and dry. Five of coins. He may have also left her and withdrawn from her at a time where she had financial problems. She could have been literally out in the cold, not knowing what to do, like praying to God for some kind of help. He could have freaked out and left her at a time when it's like, oh, because I'm hearing Millie Jackson. I woke up this morning and I stared out the window and I struggled for something to say. You left in the rain without closing the door. I didn't stand in your way. You left me just when I needed you most. That song. Oh, Millie's so good. We have an Ace of Swords. She, in her mind, she's like, when somebody leaves you like that, trust me, they meant to. It's like, it's over. They severed the cord because look at the time that you left me. It's not just that you left me, it was the time that you left me. So you really meant it. I didn't matter. And I had to heal from that. We have all this amethyst crystal surrounding her. I feel like she got a lot of help from her guides. I feel like there has been possibly, because here we have like the stained glass and we have this decidedly like, symbol of, you know, usually we would think of stained glass and this shape as, like religious in nature. And I'm not a religious person, but I have no problem, talking about and thinking that there's a lot of beautiful things that come from the idea of like, the angels and God and religion and things like that, because there are some beautiful components of all of that. But I really feel like she has been supported as bad as her situation was. I feel like certain things have surrounded her, like crystals grow around her. There has been some kind of high vibration and protection around her. It still didn't like take away the hurt or the emptiness or the loss or the problems and struggles that she faced. But her guides have been trying to support her. This was a very it was a bad ending, that's for sure. Seven of coins, but things started to grow again. Things started to get better. Air Bubble, great to see you, babe. CDW, awesome to see you. Bradley, hi, babe. The fact that we have growth here, we have her life has come back into the sun and over time. And I'm thinking that if this was about like she was hit a really bad spot financially, also when he withdrew, not saying he was supposed to be financially responsible for her or something like that, but let's just say it's hard to lose a job at the same time that somebody withdraws from you from a relationship. Sometimes you can feel like, wow, I must suck, like it can just hurt. It can just stack up. And it's like the rejection and rejection and rejection, even though losing a job is not a rejection. Companies move on, companies, fail. They can't keep people employed. We shouldn't take it as a rejection, but man, can it suck. And it could have been huge transformation and transition in her life where everything she knew, the bottom dropped out of her world. Over time, she's rebuilt it and then some, because she's not at a 5, she's at a 7 now. So she's gained 2 extra pentacles for all the 5 that she lost. Her life, although it's taken a while, she's not only blossomed in one major area, but other things are blossoming as well. I definitely think her guides have helped her. Now that also shows us a passage of time. 7 of coins says this has been a long time. So when he, I was going to say effed off, disappeared. A bunch of time has passed between his disappearing act and now, from what I can see. And so that's also not super awesome. We have the Chariot. She's kind of a different person. She could have moved to a different area. She could live in a different area. She has the horns of like a masculine, but very much the hot pants of a feminine. And on her car, it says cosmic. We see her kind of out here, sky watching in the desert and following her intuition and following her path, strong Cancerian energy, strong emotions. She's got a real cool, funky, unique style, but we definitely see her as very feminine, very emotional, and also harnessing her masculine energy all at the same time. But interestingly enough, she's been using all of this to move toward the path that seems right for herself, her like true north. I love the fact that she's moved on. Do you think of him at this point at all? Is there anything that you want with him? Ace of Cups. Interestingly enough, it's like, yeah, I had so much emotion. I had so much love for him. Probably always still will. This is something, Seven of Swords. Here's the thing. And I would say this is the mark of a truly like healed person, where they can say openly like, oh God, yeah. I mean, I probably can't help it. You love who you love, even if it was a bunch of bullshit. I lied to myself that he loved me, but I did love him. When you can say that and own it, I think is where, you're not running from it. You're not saying I have to fall out of love with somebody. You can say, I can admit I love that person. They still are in my heart, but I can also admit that it was what was real for me doesn't mean it's real for them. It was a bunch of lies, and I contributed to telling myself the lie. So I definitely think that because of the way they treated her, she's like, that's proof that somebody doesn't love me. But it doesn't say that I didn't love them. But you notice she seems like a realist. She seems like somebody who can move forward and say, it is what it is. My life has actually become really amazing and I've fully moved forward, but a truth is still a truth. I felt this way, and I also know that it was a lie, that it was a two-way street, because the way they did me tells me that's not how you do somebody if you love them. Okay, fair enough. The only caveat to this, and this is not to, say, oh, she's got it wrong, he really did love you, take him back. No. But when people are, obviously, like if he did his old elaborate thing of tearing himself away from her on purpose because he couldn't handle her energy as that high priestess. It's like, her energy was like seeping into, between his joints and his bones, and it was overwhelming because of his own traumas or scars or whatever. It doesn't mean that somebody doesn't love you, even if they're not capable of handling what the word love means or feels like. It can be very traumatizing and scary. Think of, let me give this visual. An abused shelter dog, which I don't even like to say that because it makes me want to scream and cry that animals go through such trauma, that people go through such trauma. But a dog that is scared because they haven't been treated nice, even when they are in a safe space, how it can take a while before they're not scared. And they may always be skittish around the majority of humans, except the couple that they might come to trust. That you can want to trust and you're still too freaked out to do it. Everybody has their past that shapes them. And so that's the one thing where I would say, I get why she says, I loved him. It was a lie that he loved me. And I would have to counter and say, sweetheart, that might not have been true though. I mean, she can still say the way he treated me, you wouldn't treat somebody if you loved them. But then shelter dog. So, there is still, there's more layers to everything. In this storyline, like I said, it's been a really hard story for me to figure out this character, because they are aware that they were emotionally manipulative to a certain extent, or didn't want to give his emotions, even though what's crazy is he's certainly been lusty after her, but now also realizing full blown, but I loved her. And really, the real reason I wanted to run and did run and leave her high and dry, and found a reason why I could justify doing it, is because she was a high priestess. It was freaking me out. Can we go back to that? Tell me more about this whole, why'd the high priestess energy freak you so bad? We have Three of Cups, and we have Transcendence in the reverse, which would be the World card in any other deck. It's card 21, but it came out in the reverse. And this is them saying, I don't want to have to change anything. The way I have constructed my world, I don't go too deep with anybody. I keep it nice and superficial. I don't want anybody that I might want to stay with. They could have been somebody who's like, look, the Three of Cups can be having a good time. It can also be cheating, or it can just be somebody who flits from relationship to relationship and everything is sparkly and fun, but not too deep, not too meaningful. And it's I'm hearing that song, The Wanderer, that old 50s song, 1950s song, well, there's Flo on my left and then there's Mary on the right, and Janie is a girl, well, that I'll be with tonight. But when you ask me which one I love the best, I tear open my shirt and there's a Rosie on the chest because I'm the Wanderer. Feels a little like that. 9 of Pentacles. Look, if there was something so profound about her, and you notice how these crystals are like leading up, into this path into the sky. That high priestess energy of her challenged him to make a change. He knew he was dealing with somebody who was like really somebody. She knows who she is. She is somebody with tremendous gravity to her. She is somebody with tremendous power. She will get to know you in every way and expect you to get to know her in every way. And it will be physical and mental, and it will be, spiritually, and it will be all of those things. And it was the beginning phases of that. She already got to the second little step in these, like whatever we want to call them, the stair steps of, vibrational matching. That was like cracking his facade that I don't want somebody to like seep into me like that. I don't want them to see into me like that. I don't want this bond to build and grow. I don't want to change anything about the way I'm doing my life. And let me just ask why. Why the desire for the 3 of Cups, the light and fluffy? So this card is called the Maze, but it's actually the Wheel of Fortune, right? But interesting because this looks more like the landscape of the brain is how it looks when it's sideways. Upright, we can tell it's a maze, but it definitely looks more like the contours of the mind to me. And even the fact that, the Wheel of Fortune should be the opportunities that present themselves in our life for us to like level up and go into the next chapter. But here it's like, I almost feel like he had a very confused head, very confused mind, maybe in regards to himself. I'm trying to ask, why is it freaking you out so much? Why did you not want to change anything about your more superficial life versus letting somebody of great quality get to know you and vice versa? And the first freak out is like, I don't know. Like, what if there's not much to get to know about me? What if they get to the middle of the lollipop and there isn't any, Tootsie Roll center? What if she gets to know me and there's nothing there? I don't know. I don't know who I am, that she's going to get to know me and she's going to see what's missing. My head is muddled. I don't want her to see my muddled head. It almost feels like this person, they have these shocking, raw, kind of like self-depreciating opinions of themselves. Like they know that they weren't showing love. They know they abandoned her. They know all this. They know they ran. They know that they're sorry. They know that they wish she missed them. They know that they actually loved her, at least at this point. And they also know all this other stuff, but man, they are not good at admitting their own fears. But if that's where we get to the bottom of it, and it's like, part of it is they don't see opportunities for change in their life. And I think the irony here is she was their opportunity for change. That when the Wheel of Fortune comes in for us, that's when things get better. That's when new opportunities come, but it does require us to grow and stretch and change to have the new opportunities. If you are working, let's use a restaurant as an example, because so many of us start our first jobs in restaurants, right? If you get started in a restaurant, what are you? You're a hostess, you're a busboy. Then eventually they may turn you into a waitress, bartender, line cook. You gravitate and you get more and more responsibilities once you've, gotten the hang of things, especially if you're a brand new worker, right? Whatever, you're 16, 18, whatever, you start your first job. You don't start out as the head chef. You start out as the dishwasher, the busboy, and you work your way up, and they teach you stuff while you're working that help you progress until pretty soon maybe you are the head chef. But that has to be a progression. And this person was like afraid of the progression of going from the life they knew, which is superficial connections. I can do those. You don't go too deep. You don't ask me too much. I don't really need to know everybody's middle name. I don't really want to know too much about your life. That's why I date superficially. Hell, I don't even know what their faces look like. It doesn't matter. There's a brunette, there's a blonde, there's a redhead. That's the person I'm dating, is the brunette right now. That seems to be about the depth they were looking for in a connection. And she was not going to be a superficial anything. And that kind of like, as she gets to know me deeper and she's going to want to, I'm not ready to grow. I'm not ready to go to the next level of, deepening a connection with somebody. And again, what if there's nothing more in me? What if this is as much as I grow? There is no extra layer to me. I don't know why this person thinks. I mean, the proof is you actually had the capacity to genuinely fall in love with her and you can't forget her. But God, this person just comes across as somebody who's like, they are their own worst enemy. They tear themselves down more than anybody ever could. And that really undermines stuff. But then in turn, of course, that makes them run from somebody, even if it means that they left somebody high and dry. This is a really tough story. It's a really tough story. All right, what's the final message on this? We have got the Three of Wands in the reverse. When you know better, you are now responsible to do better. And you have to do it now. You don't get to sit and linger and think about this. This is their time to take an action. Otherwise, this is where things end and she moves on and her life will, she's over here doing yoga and she's stretching out and her life where she is right now is amazing. If they want to connect to her, it's now, because they already know they can't forget her. But them kicking rocks, hands in their pocket, fumbling around, waiting, hoping that she's going to reach out to them. Not only will she not reach out, but with the way you behaved, she shouldn't be chasing you. And if you've made any changes, it would be you who has to set things right. And if you aren't ready to do that, then you aren't ready to be with her anyway, is what I think this looks like to me. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's the interpretation right now on this. Queen of Swords. Okay, she's standing there in a graduation gown. So I'm going to say what we just spoke out loud was her like graduating to that point where it's like, there's no reason if somebody doesn't fix things with you, if, people can make mistakes, but if people also don't fix things with you, then carry on. You've graduated beyond this because you already understand they're not capable of doing it. They're not at the same vibrational level that you're at. That kind of seems like the message for her is carry on and don't look back, because there's really nothing more for her to do on this. And she knows that, right? She's graduated. That's probably why her life is going better, because she isn't looking back. She's just continuing to grow. What is the final message just for him? This is such a cool card. The Seven of Wands, because she's like a person, stuck in this glass, right? But then we have the Four of Pentacles. It's crazy because on his side of the equation, the universe is showing him the visual of, imagine if she did this to you. And all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, if she did this to me. So she pulls back from me. She hides from me, right? Because he did the Four of Pentacles. And now what if she did the Four of Pentacles to you? And then created an imaginary thing where it's like, but I can never reach out to you, but I'm going to spy and stare at you like, a bug in a glass. How would you like that? Because that's what you're doing to her. You won't let go of her. You keep spying on her, hoping she's sad over you. Imagine, would you like that being done to you? Maybe they're finally having like that splash of cold water in their face that says, dude, think about how you're behaving. Imagine if this is how she treated you. What would you enjoy that? Or would you be a little pissed? Would you be kind of like, what the hell? Because I'm here in Tom Petty right now. Don't come around here no more. Stop walking down my street. Who do you expect to meet? That would probably be super offensive. You held back, you disappeared from me, but then you watch me. But imagine there's this invisible reason that you could never approach or try to make something right. You're the one who put me under the glass. You're the one who did this. Maybe this is going to be a good like reality check for them. 5 of Wands sideways. There's definitely like they're starting to argue in their own head and think about things like, holy shit, do I really just leave things as they are, waiting, wondering if she's going to come back to me? This isn't the way to handle it. You shouldn't be sitting around and saying, I hope she'll come back. And then if she would, I'd just be her lover if that's all she wanted me for. She could play with my heart if she wants to, because, that's what I deserve. No, this whole story really has been, you gotta think more of yourself, that you have love to give, and that what it means to love somebody is to care about them, treat them well, treat them with respect. Don't leave them high and dry, freak out, run away, hope they call you back in, and then the way you would like try to make things right with them is to just kind of like, I don't know, disrespect yourself and say, you can just fly in and out of my life, and I'll just sleep with you when you want, if that's to make it up to you, since that's all I can offer. No, stand up and be the king that you are. You can still be a king. You have a ton to offer. If you get around to offering it, if you show up as the person that loves this individual. I'm so like stressed for this character because I feel like they keep, again, like self-depreciating, and that's like the core of the problem on this. Maybe they're starting to come around to that. Maybe they're starting to see it from the other lens. We have a 9 of Cups. Starting to at least consider what would happiness look like. You know what? I don't know what they're going to do. I can only say that they are in their heads over things. This storyline isn't about her at all, because she let things go with the way they've behaved. She had no more to put into a system when they withdrew from her. So she let this whole thing go, and she's carried on. They're the ones who have to figure out if they let this go this way or if they choose to make a change. If they choose to make a change, everything could change. It doesn't necessarily mean that they would get her back in their life, but they certainly would have a shot at it. And this card has no correlation to any other tarot deck. This is unique to this deck. So there's not a number and there's not a tarot correlation here. It's called the Veil. And we kind of have like the Matrix, right? It kind of looks like, if you watch the Matrix, you know what I'm talking about. Which maybe is the best way to describe this. When we talked about, like, it seemed like the maze was representing like, his brain. It feels like he almost has to break through, reality versus, the imagined world. And so far, he's always like living in some other world other than the reality that he could be in with her, which is, come on, how hard is it? You love somebody, you want to get to know them, you want them to get to know you. Quit freaking out and worrying that somehow there's not enough to you to be like lovable or something. Everyone is lovable. I don't know where all of that nonsense came from, but it is time to crack through that, made up facade. And maybe he needs to like really lay down the truth of who he is to her. Let her decide. I don't know why there's this feeling like he's got some missing chunk in him, but let her decide. Let her see whatever's on the other side of, the Matrix. Let her take the red pill or the blue pill, and see who he really is. I mean, if that's really what the big fear is, like, I don't want a high priestess to be able to really get to know me. Maybe that's exactly what he needs to do. to then finally either feel like, okay, she knows me and she accepts me as I am, or I finally let her get to see me. And then she goes, yeah, no, thanks. You know, maybe that's the ultimate like justice and recalibration of this, since he left her high and dry to run and hide from her. Maybe the only way back in is to like let her see the real him and then let her decide. I feel like reality is always so much better than the fantasy games and spending your whole life trying to keep everything superficial when you already love somebody. So it's not superficial, but you're running from that and hurting yourself and another person in the process. So I don't know. I'm just always hopeful that a character figures out how to be more real. We have the soul, and that is the Fool card. There is the brand new, fresh start. It's anything is still possible as we exit this storyline. Much of it depends upon whether or not he wants to live in reality. I mean, I know this is a fictional story, right? So here we are talking about reality in a fictional story. But for these characters, does he want to go ahead and be real with her? If he does, this whole thing could go very, very differently. They could have a complete do-over, possibly. But all of that is actually hinging on his actions, not on hers. So I don't know. He's in that Five of Wands and it's sideways. Five of Wands is the thought process going round and round. And he's arguing and arm wrestling with himself. So I don't know what he's going to do. Fives represent change. So he can't stay any more than you can stay in a static arm wrestle position before your muscles eventually fatigue out. Something will give. Should we ask? Do we see what it is? What's going to give? Which side of the equation is he going to land on? Seven of Pentacles. It could still take some time, but Seven of Pentacles is growth. So he has a lot of stamina to stay in that argument in his own head about, what do I do? Do I actually try to reach out and let her see the real me? Or do I just let this whole thing go? This says there will be growth here, specifically in regards to her. And you know how there's always something about the mind. You know, like I said, that maze card looked like the brain. And then we have, you know, this spinning like ballerina. It's, you know, like a music box. I keep wondering if they think that there's like something, you know, like crazy in their head. This person just seems to always cut themselves into ribbons, you know, like, oh, I don't have a perfect intelligence, or I don't, you know, always rationalize like everybody else does, or, well, who cares? The world is a richer place because we all have different ways of comprehending things. I mean, Einstein, didn't they like say he wasn't smart enough to be in a college? And it was like, no, he was so much smarter than the college itself. I mean, just because people think about the world differently or they process differently, nothing to do with your intelligence. We all have completely different skills and abilities. I mean, there are people that are so gifted in different avenues of life and other things that's not their forte at all. How could we ever be good at everything? We can't. We're not even supposed to be. How could one human brain possibly be proficient at absolutely everything? But it just feels like this person always judges themselves like there's something missing. I don't know. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. You guys, thank you so much. Sending you guys tons of love. Nice to see you. Linda, that is actually the rain. I'm in a storm front right now, and we have heavy, heavy rains at the moment, and you'll hear it. I have some skylights in my house, and so when it gets really heavily raining, you can hear it. It'll pick up, and it's still coming down really hard. Yeah, you probably noticed it somewhere in like the last maybe 20 minutes, because that's about when I picked up on it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Araceli Arredondo, great to see you. Air bubble. I know it is an appealing little cabin, huh? Yeah. As long as it didn't leak. I'm that's one thing. I was excited that the place that I live in has some skylights in it, but it definitely brings in more of the sound of the rain. But oh my gosh, my houseplants love it to have the extra light. But I was like, please don't let them leak. Because that's always what I've never had a place that had skylights before. And so it's really lovely. I really like it. But I always had heard that they always leak. And so far, knock on wood, it's good. Good night, Angie Leo Queen. Sweet dreams. Michelle Lavelle, thank you so much. I'm glad you liked this one. Me too. I was in the mood for the woods. London 72, great to see you. Ariel Cavell, thank you again, babe. Zion's Gamming, always a delight to hang with you. Jay Gallegria, thanks for hanging out. Small TV, SLH, thank you again, babe. Daisy Jones Locker, wonderful to see you. I don't know what the quick question for a particular, where is the third? I don't know what that means. Alchemist 1111, thanks for being here. Victoria Edwards, thanks for hanging. Oh my God, Alchemist 1111, thank you. That is so kind. Alchemist 1111 just gifted 5 more memberships. Zion's Gamming, you are a member. Yoshifan, Andrea, hang on, Andrea Rechiru, I'm sorry if I said your name poorly. Luciphine, and Lori 9507. You guys are all now members. Alchemist, you are so generous. Thank you, babe. Thank you. That was really kind. I cannot get over how incredibly generous you guys are. I've never seen such generosity. It is just unbelievable. You guys are so nice to me, to each other. Thank you a million times over. That was really kind. All right, you guys, have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys. Actually, I'm going to bounce over to the other channel and do a today's topic right now, though. See Nellie run. Good to see you, babe. All right, everybody. I'll see you on the other side if you're going to be up late. Otherwise, sweet dreams or have a great start to your day. Star Child, thank you, hun. Nice to see you. Jeannieville, thank you again so much. And Bradley, thank you so much. Raina, hi. AC, wonderful to hang with you. Laverde, hi. TK Lawsonful, thank you for hanging out. And I love the flower. Thank you. Hibiscus. Terrifying Nature, nice to see you, babe. Devio, Texas Virgo, thank you for the rose. Thanks again, Kate. And Chrissy, always a delight. Eliana, so great to see you tonight. All right, you guys, I'll see you on the other side. Bye.